Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I shall be talking about my entrepreneurship journey, which is basically an Ashley entrepreneurship journey. What are the challenges I go through? What are the opportunities I get? What should you do and what shouldn't you do? And just some of the interesting things that I've been saying in my everyday life. So I hear it's important to tell people who you really are because, the world has, I wish I had the number, I'd have said, the world has very many people. So I'm going to start from my high school. Actually, no. Yeah, because anything before that is as good as being in my mother's womb. So I went to the Kenya high school and then I finished school. And then obviously after studying really hard, we got good grades. And everyone is like expecting you to go and be an engineer, an architect, a doctor, those high level professions. And then I'm like, mimi nataka kufanya biashara. So then I applied to go to Strathmore, and I wanted to do BCom. And then my dad was like, once the interview was done and I was accepted, my dad was like, nah, that market is flooded, So I was told to pick something else. So me being me, and I'm really a happy-go-lucky person, just live life. It's never that serious. Relax, breathe. That's the kind of attitude that I breathe through life with. So I call my best friend and I'm like, yo, dude, I have nothing to study in campus. What are you going to do? And she's like, I'm going to study procurement. I'm like, Ati, pro what? Procurement. Those days, guys were not stealing as much in procurement. So guys didn't know about procurement. So I'm like, oh, okay. Sounds okay. Where are you going to do it? And she's like, in JKUAT Karen. So my folks come and I'm like, oh, guys, dad, mom, I know what I'm going to study. You make it sound like it's a calling, like the Lord spoken to you. It was revealed, a revelation. But it really wasn't. I just wanted to be desk mates with my best friend. Yeah, so that's how I ended up doing procurement for 2.5 years. To be honest, if I went back to campus, I don't really think I'd spend more than one lecture studying procurement because I feel like it was a big waste of time. But that's a story for another day. So after campus is go and look for a job. And for some weird reason, I was particularly obsessed with KPMG. I wanted to work at KPMG. I Googled these guys online and they seem to have a friendly environment. And I'm such a happy-go-lucky person. I mentioned this earlier. So I wanted to go to a place where, we'll be smiling at each other. You don't have to call someone sir or boss and all of those things. So it's so weird because I knew how much I hated accounting. I can't stand accounting to save my life. But for KPMG, I was willing to do anything. The way like chicks know the habits they can't put up with in a guy. And then there's this one guy who has like those same habits. And you just keep like making exceptions for him. It's like, but I'm panda. So that was me at KPMG. So I went and registered for CPA. I got exemptions. So I started to do CPA at CPA 2. Obviously, as you can imagine, mpaka leo bado niko tu CPA 2. So I applied into KPMG. I got through up until the management level interviews, and then they sent me that we found people who are a better match. You know that story? Yeah. So at the same time, I had this interest in the stock exchange. So I used to go to NSE a lot of times and hang out with the old guys, the brokers. They're like on average between 45 and 60 years. It was a very interesting company. So they tell you about days when Mumias used to trade at 46 shillings. Yeah, it's like Stone Age, obviously, because today the company is a rumor. Sorry if any government person is watching this, but it's true, man. It's really a rumor. So I really wanted to do investments at this point. As you can see, I'm passionate about things in the moment. I'm like so into it. And then after a while, I'm like, about this thing, it's not working for me. So I was really curious about investments. So I read a lot of reports online. And then that's how I bumped into a Cyton report. It was on mergers and acquisitions. I think I was preparing for a case interview with some company. I can't remember which one. So I bumped into Cyton and then I applied for a role there because I was curious to know what it would be like if I worked in an investment firm. And these things sound very romantic. You want to be that chick who shows up in the morning and you're like, yeah, my name is Ashley and I work at an investment firm. I didn't want to be like a air hostess and no offense to those kind of people, but like investments made me feel like I was going to feel important. So then I went to Cyton. And let me tell you, I could not touch investments with a 10-meter rod today. It is not me. I can't do it. And shout out to all the investment people at Cyton and other companies. Siwezi. So I got to Cyton and it was like, cheers, Baba. This investment thing, was a dream and it was a rumor. So when I'm at Saiton and I realized I can't do investments, you had to pick a department. So I picked real estate, which was easy for me because I always wanted to like get into construction because of the stereotype. Na watu wa mjengo wanakuanga na pesa, macontractor wanakuanga na pesa, and unfortunately for some of us, we're so obsessed with making money. So it was like, let's do real estate. So this is like a brief story about what my life at Saiton was like. But it was basically changing department after the other. So I got into real estate and I did relationships and partnerships for a bit before I was like, about this job, I got bored again. Then we were launching something called franchising, and we did the research and we did all the work up until the day we went and launched this thing. And I remember it was the first day in my life that I emceed, and that's the day that I feel like I discovered something new, you know, like there's something inside of you, it came out. It's like not demons, but like good stuff. So at that point, I'm like, I really enjoy this thing called emceeing. As you can imagine, franchising, yeah, I kind of left that one as well. So at this point, my bosses are like done with me. They're like, this chick, who does she think she is? Unadhani any company babako. So when you're about to get bounced, one of the ladies at work, she's very senior, and she, I guess, just realized that I was gonna lose it. She sat me down and she was like, Ashley, now you need to decide and you need to pick a struggle and stick with it. So I picked a struggle called project management, which is what I stuck with for the last 1 year. And it was, to be honest, the funnest part of my life at Saiton. So I stuck out through project management. And since I had bumped onto this thing that I really liked to do, emceeing and hosting events, I used to host a lot more events at Saiton. If we had like client dinners, if we had like internal events, I just used to like emceeing. So then I realized, why am I not doing communications? Why am I immersing myself in sand and steel and concrete? And Aki, you know, if you haven't studied real estate and you have to do a real estate job, unajua the size of a BOQ. Anyway, it was just time to realize that it's time out in this job. And it's, for me, I believe that you should start to chase your passions as soon as you can, because you never know when you're going to pass on. You never know when you're going to not be able to speak, walk anymore. So like the few days of your life that you look like this, you feel energetic, you can put in work in something that you actually care to do. And also before you start popping babies, because I feel like there's like an age I'm going to get and then babies just start popping. You don't even know where they come from, right? They just, number one, number two, mpaka number God knows what. So that's how I bumped onto the trail, which is what I do these days. And it makes me really happy. If I died today, I would be happy that I died doing the trail. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you're chasing passions or you're paying bills with your jobs. And it's no offense, and it's not even a big deal if you're still working where you're working because of the things that you have to do. It's just a challenge that I'd like to pose to everyone out there, that if you found what you want to do, I think give it time, even if as a hobby. And if you haven't found, take time to try and find what you're trying to do. So I'm going to tell you what my journey is like. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean it's not work. It really is. Like today, I'm telling you, I've had like such a long day. The guy I work with hasn't shown up. He's been MIA for 3 days. You'll see him on my videos because he's been appearing a lot of times. But my God, do you know, like you wake up and then you're like, and then you remember Caroline Mutoko's videos for fire somebody. But anyway, he's going to watch this and he'll be so mad. But yeah, it's all good. I'm just saying how I feel. So it's difficult to be my age, but you have to make tough decisions. But no one cares if you're 23, 50, 70, 45, 14. Life is just life. Kama ni ngumu ngumu. Kama ni mbaya, mbaya. Sometimes I sound so G, I impress myself. Anyways, enjoy the entrepreneurship journey and welcome to my channel, and thanks for watching. Subscribe.